The Ottawa Police Service Board honors the peoples and land of the Algonquin Nation. Today, Ottawa is home to approximately 40,000 First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Ottawa's Indigenous community is diverse, representing many nations, languages, and customs. The Ottawa Police Service Board honors all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. We are currently broadcasting on Zoom and live streaming on YouTube. Should we receive any disruptions, I would ask that everyone remain patient as we work to fix the issue and resume the meeting as soon as possible. I will now proceed with the confirmation of the agenda. The Ottawa Police Service Board's Human Resources Committee confirmed the agenda of the 6th of May 2025 meeting. Is the agenda confirmed?
Confirmed.
Okay, thank you. Now move to the confirmation of minutes. I just want to raise one thing on page 2 of the minutes, item 4.1. The last sentence in that item at the bottom of the page, I think it says the process should be part of the executive's director's work, which the service needs over the next month to finalize the details. I believe that should be, the process should be part of the executive director's work with the service lead over the next month to finalize the details. And the executive director can just confirm that.
Chair, could you say that again? I couldn't hear you very well. I think there's an issue with your microphone.
Okay. Can you hear me all right now or not?
Yes, okay.
Okay. So the last sentence should read, this process should be part of the executive director's work with the service leads over the next month to finalize the details, as opposed to which the service leads over the next.
Yes, we will correct that.
Okay. Okay, so with that correction, then are the minutes confirmed?
Confirmed.
Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to items of business. So 4.1, staff stabilization update, Q4 2024 and Q1 of 2025. So Chief, I'll turn it over to you and your team for the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. I'll say a few things. One, I'm having some issues. The screen keeps freezing on me, so I'm hoping you can hear me and whatnot. And Chair, your voice has been coming and going a little bit. Deputy Bell said the same thing. So
is the Chief frozen for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Maybe Deputy Bell, I'll ask you to continue.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Chief, you're back.
yeah, I'm having issues. You know, Steve, I think I'm going to kind of bail and come into your office. I'm having issues here, so I'm just going to turn it over to you and Meg here.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, and thanks, HR committee. Like when we started the staff stabilization plan, I guess 2 years ago now, when it was approved by the board, we committed to a couple things. One of them is that we would have a good, strong project management framework around it. In order to make sure that we were measuring our deliverables, and you're going to see some of that today. And the other piece was that we would quarterly report to the HR committee on our progress. So what you have today is our Q1 2025 update on where we are around our staff stabilization plan. And with that, I will turn it over to Meg Steele, our CHRO, who will provide information, and we're happy to have any sort of discussion around it. So Meg, over to you.
Thank you so much, Steve, and good morning. We're pleased to be here to provide the Q4 2024 and Q1 2025 update to the OPS's staff stabilization strategy. We've now concluded the first year of the 3-year implementation timeline. So providing these updates was committed to, as Steve has mentioned, by the service to the board when the strategy was approved in 2023. With the last update being provided to this committee in October of 2024. These updates will continue throughout the duration of the initiative. So on slide 2, this morning we're going to provide an update on the progress made to date, and we'll provide line of sight to ongoing and planned activities as we discuss some risks and some issues we're monitoring and managing. So if we can move to the next slide, slide 3. So this slide demonstrates the progress and the status of the sworn outreach, recruitment, and hiring on a class-by-class basis. So you'll note that the progress is identified for our first class of 2024. So if you look up at the top here, 2024-01. And for each subsequent class, new recruit and experienced from there on down. So how these go is they're divided into bars across the screen. And so the navy blue bar, so I'm gonna be challenged here on all my descriptions of colors of blue. But if you see the navy blue bar for 2024-01, it's complete all across the board. And then we've got a light blue, robin's egg blue, 2024-01, complete onboarding across the board. You've got the green, hiring complete across the board, outreach and recruitment complete across the board. So so what this indicates is that for the 2024-01, all of the officers that were hired, they're hired and they continue on independent control. So we've met all of our deadlines. You see, they'll be and they work from the bottom up. So it starts off, have we gone through an outreach and recruitment? That's the bottom line. Have we hired? Have we onboard? Have we completed our training? And as you move down the classes, you can see where we've completed things like outreach and recruitment and hiring and onboarding, but maybe we haven't completed the training yet because maybe they're at OPC or they haven't been fully released. So as you move through it, we can see what the highlights are on a class-by-class basis. So as you go back to 2024-01, that's all been blocked forward. They're on independent control until August. 2024-02, so those 30 officers have transitioned to independent patrol in March. 2024-03, 36 officers have started with their field training officer and transitioned to independent patrol in June. 2024-04, 31 candidates have finished at Ontario Police College in March. They'll soon be sworn in. 2025-01, 34 candidates have been hired and are currently at Ontario Police College. 2025-02, candidates are being hired. They will begin at Ontario Police College in June. And for our experienced officers, 2025-E01, they're being hired. They'll begin in May. It might move into June. We've got 2 who are hired, and we've got 9 that are in the process right now. So speaking more broadly, in 2024, we hit our sworn hiring targets. We hired 134 new officers. And while we were a bit under in our civilian hiring requirements, we actually hired more civilians than we had initially projected in 2024. We had 50 civilian hires. Now, as far as hiring demographics, we did well in 2024 as far as recruiting and hiring racialized males, non-racialized females, but we still have work to do as far as identifying and attracting and hiring racialized females. Addressing this is a key objective in our updated outreach and recruitment strategy that's currently in development. Next slide, please. So our ongoing and planned progress. So looking forward into 2025 and based on our projections, we anticipate the need to hire 165 sworn members and 107 civilian members. And the rationale for these numbers is provided here, though much of the hiring of sworn and civilian members is to address retirements and growth targets. We continue to adjust these projections on a quarter-by-quarter basis, and we adjust our hiring plans based on such, updating the board on progress throughout, and we do that on a quarterly workforce management report and through our updates on the staff stabilization initiative. Moving on to slide 5, our ongoing and planned progress. So given the number of civilian hires we're working towards in 2025, we've had to take a prioritization approach to hiring given our capacity in the civilian staffing team. So we're prioritizing based on a number of factors, including the operational importance and based on input from senior leadership. Civilian hiring in Q2 and Q3 of this year is anticipated to focus on those positions that are noted here. Next slide. So the team has been successful at hitting a number of key objectives of the staff stabilization strategy in 2024, and we continue to build momentum throughout Q1 of 2025. But to maintain this momentum and improve upon it, we need to continue to review and enhance the outreach and recruitment strategy and ensure that we've got a healthy and diverse pool of civilian and sworn candidates to fill the jobs in the future. And we also realize that we're only in year one of a 3-year implementation plan, and the working group continues to meet and coordinate through the end of 2026 while this strategy continues and is ultimately wrapped up. And finally, we continue to work hard to achieve our civilian staffing actions that can sometimes get overlooked relative to sworn staffing actions, but are just as important to the well-being of the organization and the community that we serve. So moving on to the next slide, where we're identifying key risks and issues. So the working group monitors these and puts in strategies to address them, but continuation of funding is of course a critical risk. We need continued support of this initiative from the board and from our city colleagues, and as it's crucial to our success. And we have received that support through the 2024 and 2025 budget cycles, and we hope to do so during the 2026 budget cycle. We have some risks in terms of space and trainer capacity at our professional development center. This continues to be a challenge, especially as we work through to balance our training needs under the CSPA with the training needs of our new and existing members. And of course, our facilities and PDC teams have come up with creative strategies to work around this and ensure that training's not affected. We've got, as we've mentioned previously in the presentation, diversity of sworn and civilian candidates. We have an obligation in order to ensure that our police service reflects the community that it serves, and we continue to work to ensure this. So we're working with a vendor currently in our outreach and recruitment strategy to improve practices to ensure that we're reaching as many diverse audiences as possible. A key risk is also the quantity and quality of sworn and civilian candidates. That's going to remain a challenge, though the picture is improving with growing numbers of those demonstrating an interest in working for the OPS relative to previous years. And of course, we always have a challenge with seat availability at the Ontario Police College, but this has been less of an issue with recent classes, and we've filled over 30 seats in most cases. That said, continued engagement from our executive command team and the board is important to us maintaining access to these seats moving forward. Next slide. So this concludes today's update, but we're now happy to receive any feedback that you may have. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks very much, Meg. I'll open it up now for questions from committee members. Go ahead, Member Carr.
Yeah, thanks very much for the update. Much appreciated. I know, Meg, your presentation is all about the staff stabilization, but at the same time that we're looking at the staff stabilization, are we generating statistics on attrition as well? And looking at the difference between the stabilization, like you presented all the recruitment of the new classes, but we don't see attrition, the retirements, people leaving, not completing their training or anything like that. Overall, is there anything that we can say about the net gain?
Thank you very much, Member Carr. So we can absolutely, and in future presentations, dedicate some time and space to that issue as well. And retirements and resignations is something that we know that the board is concerned with. We had the inquiry previously. Overall, we've been pleasantly surprised at lower attrition numbers this year than we had initially anticipated. Although there may be more next year, and so that's currently part of our part of our strategy and focus in order to recruit more people, because we do anticipate having higher retirements in 2026.
Okay, thanks. And did TC Bell want to respond to that?
Yeah, if I could just add to that. So one of the things we do in the staff stabilization plan is we go into the year with a projection, and we actually adjust our hiring numbers, both sworn and civilian, up or down based on the real-time retirements or resignations that we're seeing. So any sort of attrition components get built into the year-end number. For example, I believe it was 108 we had anticipated hiring in sworn in 2024. We moved that up to 134 based on those attrition rates. In terms of resignations, I'll guide you back to the inquiry that we responded from Member Donaldson to at the last board meeting, where we identified those attrition numbers. And one of the things that did come out of that was valuable to us is we have remarkably low attrition numbers. Any attrition we're not looking for, but overall from a general workforce, we're way below the average. And from a policing perspective, we are still at or below the average in terms of attrition.
Thanks very much. Like it's good to see the staff stabilization and the fact that we've, I think we had 3 classes last year. We're on our way to having 2 classes this year, 4 classes this year, between the 2 years, right? Because the one started. So that's promising. Now this question's a little bit outside the staff stabilization exercise, but something that concerns me: external factors that are impacting policing. For example, I'm reading about Bill 6, Safer Municipalities Act, and it talks specifically about the role of policing. Do you see external factors such as that impacting the need for more police?
So I think I'll start then. Sure. If you want to. So what I would say is, in every budget process we go through, in all of our daily ongoing activities, we're always looking at those external factors. CSPA wasn't necessarily an external factor, but it definitely had impacts on our budget requirements. So we continue to look at trends in our society, trends in our community as we build the budget, and that's some of the work we do around the consultation and around conversations we have with the board, so that we can come to you with an actual amount that we believe we need in order to provide adequate and effective policing. And included in that are all of those external factors that we identify.
Okay, thanks. Should be an interesting budget year next year. Thank you very much for the update. Thank you, Meg.
Well, go ahead.
Just a member Carr, in terms of the budget year, and as it relates to the staff stabilization, Meg mentioned on one slide about sort of that sustained funding, and of course you'll recall a couple of years ago we presented the 3-year staff stabilization plan, and for over 3 years it was supported by the board, and we were able to obviously complete year 1 of the staff stabilization with the budget that we received. Last year, very difficult. We have pressures on the budget this year based on that number. But as we know, this year's budget, year 1 and 2, those people that we hired, they're making more money as they go from, they change class of constables, and which makes more money with the CBA and whatnot. So our staff stabilization is certainly, we need to focus on that for year 3 to get it to the finish line. And this year's budget is going to be key for that.
Member Carr, you had a follow-up?
It's a little bit out of context, but just with all of we've seen so many classes of new recruits over the last couple of years. I mean, the first couple of years I was on the board, I'm not sure that, 2022, I don't even think we had a class, did we? But in any case, the management of risks from having that many new constables, where is that managed as well?
Really good question. And I think it was 2021 is when they didn't hire anybody, and then 22 kind of got back. But just to clarify, we had 4 classes last year, and this year maybe actually 5 classes. they're looking at an additional class in the fall. So that'll really help us. In terms of monitoring, you're 100% right, because all of our new members, they go to the front line. So we have a lot of junior people on the front line, and Deputy Burnett, that they all go to him and on the road. So Paul, if you want to make any comments, maybe I'll throw it over to you. But what we have done, and through Deputy Bell and Meg, is we've created a new position, a staff sergeant, that is supervising the recruits that we hire, the pre-OPC training, of course, at OPC, the post-OPC training, and then as they are with their field coach officers for the 500 hours, so 50 shifts, 500 hours, sorry, that he is charged with monitoring them and flagging and trying to help anybody that's struggling, putting in plans and whatnot. So the team there at HR have layered just some extra supervision for the exact purpose that you just brought up, that it's just a bit too much to throw them out there and hope for the best. We have more oversight on that.
Thank you. Look forward to hearing more on that. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Any other questions from committee or board members? Okay, so thanks very much for the presentation. You know, I know the upcoming or the ongoing challenges on the last slide, and I guess I would just make the comment that these aren't going to go away anytime soon. I think this is going to be an ongoing challenge, just given the work environment and just the broader economic environment, that we're going to be challenged with this, I think, for years to come. So we appreciate the update on this. I think this will be very important to continue to monitor closely. I think from the board's perspective, one of the big takeaways here is that the one area that in particular that we will have some influence and need to support is around the budget, and so we'll take that away from this to note that that's I think a critical factor, that without the budget that goes with hiring the amount of people that are needed, that the rest really doesn't matter. So thanks for that, and we'll look forward to an update down the road. Okay, just before we move on, under other business, I'll just note that at the last committee meeting we had asked for how to have on the board level diversity plan, to have an action plan and timeline for that presented at this meeting, but given other priorities and restrictions, we'll put that off until the next HR committee meeting. Just there wasn't enough time to get that ready for this meeting, so I just wanted to note that. And I noticed that member Paulowin has his hand up, so Michael.
Thank you, Chair. Just a note: we should vote to receive the report for information and discussion.
Yeah, thanks for that. I missed that. So is the item received?
Received.
Okay, thanks very much for that. Okay, so at this time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the public portion of the meeting and move in camera to discuss one labor relations matter and one matter involving information explicitly supplied in confidence to the board by Canada, a province or territory or Crown agency of any of them, a municipality or a First Nation, pursuant to Section 44(2) sub G of the Community Safety and Policing Act. Member Carr, you're shaking your head, or you're nodding your head. That's I think that's the motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. Our next HR meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 26th at 10 a.m. So those participating in the in-camera meeting may now join with the confidential Zoom link that was previously provided. Thank you, everybody.